Ursula von der Leyen's plane was forced to land using paper maps after Russia jammed her GPS system. But that's not even the scariest part of what's happening in Europe right now. I'm Andrew Meet Rich, former analyst for a state-run media outlet who chose truth over obedience. Now I'm independent, living in Europe, exposing what global leaders don't want you to see. Today I'm bringing you two stories that show Europe is at a breaking point. First, how Putin's regime almost brought down the EU's top leader in midair. Second, something that would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. Far-right parties are simultaneously leading polls in Germany, France, and Britain for the first time in modern history. You won't believe what's really happening behind these headlines. And here's where it gets even worse. 4 candidates from Germany's far-right party just died mysteriously before crucial elections. If this information helps you understand what mainstream media won't tell you, hit that like button. Subscribe for truth, not propaganda. And if you want to support independent journalism that refuses to bow to state pressure, consider becoming a sponsor, because tomorrow the news could change everything. Sunday afternoon, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen's plane approaches Plovdiv airport in Bulgaria. Suddenly, the GPS navigation system goes completely dark. The pilots circle for an hour, then make an emergency landing using paper maps. This wasn't an accident. Bulgarian authorities confirmed they suspect this was blatant Russian interference. Let me repeat that. Russia tried to bring down the plane carrying Europe's most powerful leader. Von der Leyen was on a tour of EU frontline states, bordering Russia and Belarus, promoting Europe's €800 billion defense spending plan. Putin's message was clear: we can reach you anywhere. And now listen carefully, this isn't isolated. Scandinavian and Baltic authorities say Russia regularly jams GPS signals across the region. Commercial aviation faces increased risks of accidents if planes veer off course due to false GPS signals. Just imagine that for a second. Every time European leaders fly near Russian territory, they're gambling with their lives. Putin's hybrid warfare isn't just about Ukraine anymore, it's about intimidating the entire European leadership. You see the pattern, right? First they target infrastructure. Then they go after the people making decisions against Moscow. But here's what makes this even more outrageous. Von der Leyen called Putin a predator who can only be kept in check through strong deterrence. She was absolutely right, and Putin's response was to try to crash her plane. This is pure fascist behavior. When you can't win arguments, you try to eliminate the people making them. Sound familiar? That's exactly what authoritarian regimes do when they feel cornered. And where was the international outrage? Where were the emergency NATO meetings? Instead, we get diplomatic statements about concerning incidents. Meanwhile, Putin is laughing at European weakness. Here's where it gets even worse. Intelligence analysts say Russia knew von der Leyen was coming and could just turn up the knob a little bit to be an irritating neighbor. Irritating. They tried to cause a plane crash. This is why Europe is losing respect globally. When someone tries to harm your top leader and your response is polite concern, you've already lost. If you're still with me, hit that like button. It tells me you want the truth, not just the headlines. But if you think this is bad, wait until you hear what's happening inside Germany itself. For the first time in modern history, far-right and populist parties are simultaneously topping polls in Europe's 3 main economies: Germany, France, and Britain. The alternative for Germany now leads at 26%, ahead of the ruling Christian Democrats at 24%. But here's what should terrify every Democrat in Europe. 4 AfD candidates just died suddenly and unexpectedly before crucial local elections in Germany's largest state. The victims are Ralf Lange, 66, Wolfgang Seitz, 59, Wolfgang Klinger, 71, and Stefan Berendes, 59. All died within 2 weeks of each other. German economics professor Stefan Homburg called this statistically almost impossible. You won't believe this. Election authorities now have to reprint thousands of ballots. Mail-in votes are invalid. Some districts must hold completely new elections. And now listen carefully. Despite concerns on social media, no evidence suggests anything other than natural causes. No police investigations were launched into any of the 4 cases. But think about the timing. AfD is surging in polls, leading the country for the first time, and suddenly 4 candidates die within days of crucial elections? Let me be clear about something. I'm not saying this was coordinated, but the optics are absolutely devastating for German democracy. When far-right candidates start dying mysteriously before elections, it feeds every conspiracy theory imaginable. AfD faces more attacks than any other party in Germany, including physical assaults and violence, according to official government statistics. The party's supporters are already paranoid about persecution. Here's what makes this really dangerous. Elon Musk amplified concerns about these deaths on social media, writing either Germany votes AfD or it is the end of Germany. Just imagine that for a second. The world's richest man is now weighing in on mysterious candidate fatalities in German elections. This is how democracies collapse, not through revolutions, but through erosion of trust. The far-right surge stems from the 2008 financial crisis, government budget cuts, and the 2015 migrant crisis that saw 1.3 million asylum seekers arrive in Europe. Economic anxiety and cultural changes created perfect conditions for populism. What do you think? Comment below. Are these coincidences, or is something more sinister happening in German politics? Two stories, one terrifying conclusion. Putin's Russia is escalating hybrid warfare against European leaders, while Europe's own democracies are fragmenting from within. Von der Leyen narrowly escaped what could have been a catastrophic accident. Meanwhile, the German far-right gains power amid mysterious candidate fatalities that feed conspiracy theories and democratic decay. This isn't just European news anymore. When the world's most powerful democratic alliance faces external threats from Russia and internal collapse from populism, global stability hangs in the balance. You see the pattern, right? Authoritarians abroad and populists at home are working together to destroy the liberal international order. They're winning because Democrats are too polite to fight back effectively. Stay informed, stay alert, question everything the mainstream media feeds you. Like this video if you want more truth-telling. Subscribe for independent analysis that refuses to bow to propaganda from any side. And consider supporting this channel financially, because independent journalism needs independent funding. The news never stops. Neither do we. More breaking analysis coming soon. People often ask me in the comments, who am I to talk about politics, to discuss the news like I know something they don't? Fair question. So let me answer it. I used to work as an analyst and columnist for one of the biggest media outlets, a place with a huge audience, powerful influence, and as I learned, very clear boundaries. At first, I thought I was doing real journalism, digging into facts, building arguments, writing pieces that mattered. But over time, I started seeing the cracks. Stories killed at the last minute because they didn't align with the editorial line. Interviews edited beyond recognition. Headlines twisted to fit a narrative that served someone else's agenda. At first, I told myself it was normal, just part of the job. But the more I saw, the more I realized this wasn't journalism. It was storytelling with a leash around its neck. So I left, walked away from a stable paycheck, a respected nameplate, and access to the inner circles, because I couldn't stomach the silence anymore. Freedom of speech, for me, isn't some abstract principle. It's the right to ask uncomfortable questions, to speak without permission, to think out loud, even when it's inconvenient. That's why I started this channel. No bosses, no filters, no scripts. Just truth as I see it, and the courage to say it. If that resonates with you, do me a favor, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe. It helps more than you know.